Hello and good afternoon. Welcome to today's live trading New York session with the Harmonic scanner and pitchforks. We had a successful morning this morning with several live trades called. The Euro GBP buy ended up going for about 45 pips, and that was one of them. So let's start sharing screen and see what we've got going on. Someone has just said that there is a markup on AUD New Zealand dollar. We'll go to that one first. Apparently it's just done a break and a retest. I can't remember what scan I've got on this one. I haven't been on this one for a while. I don't think I've got the scan. It's outside my scans, this one, so I can't trade it unless I've got one that's turned off, but oh, I could have. What comes back up? No, nothing coming up in that area at the moment. That's just outside that scan. Last one. No, I can't do that one until it comes up into, it looks like it's still buying. Come down to the 1 minute to see what it's doing. Well, technically the orange is above the blue, so that's still buying, but obviously there must be a scan that's, because that's a little downward trend there off that quarter theory. And apparently it's just done a break and a retest, so there must be another scan. I'll see if I can get that one added at some point. Someone could give me the scan. So I'll just write that down. 12:58 AN scan. Right, let's look at something else then. I'll go to the US pairs. Did we have other news apart from 2:30? No, it's just the 2:30 news. So CAD JPY, that was from this morning. And I said beware of the quarter theory, but it has come up through there. So it did do its 20 pips. That was on the trade idea from this morning. And still strong upward trend. Done quite a big break and a retest there. 11.5 pips. And our, at 77. So technically we could take a quarter theory trade carrying on the buy momentum. As we've only just hopped on, I'll just do this probably on demo because it's always good practice. So very clean trend line. Oh, it's just dropping below. I can see that, that's right, had that little pitchfork there as well. Just put that in pink to show you a different pitchfork, that an old one that's cutting through at that level. But so the 62, let's see if that's leveled off. 62's just dipped a little bit, but we did have 11 pip break and retest back to the quarter theory. That could be our hourly fake out. So if it turns to a buy candle, I think I'd probably wait till above that old pitchfork though, because that's only 1.8 pips off. So we'll just let that 62 curl above a bit and wait for price to get to a buy candle above that trend line. And let's see what its overall momentum looks like. So it crossed all the way, stalled out back there, and then it crossed, didn't actually manage to actually cross down. And let's just see what happens on this one. I'll put an alert on, save us staring at it. Let's put it on that pitchfork, old pitchfork, so I wouldn't want to get into it till it's cleared that old pitchfork anyway, if it does carry on up, but it's strongly turning down now. So perhaps doesn't look like it is going to carry on up there. So that's CAD JPY, maybe turning around for the buy, for the sell, sorry. ORD JPY, what happened on that one? It went for the buy, it didn't carry on down. There was that stall out in Tokyo. So on its way up, so we don't want to do anything with that until it hits that point. I'll just move that alert up there. That's AJ. GCAD. I removed a scan Warren and I were discussing that had failed. Thank you for that alert on that. So I've got it into this, is that, which scan is that? To work out which one it's now in. It's in this C to D point sell scan of the 31st of July. And that was that second pitchfork. So I'm going to hide that. So what have we got going on here? So we've got a strong downward momentum. We've got a break and a retest in quarter theory. We've got a caught between quarter theory and that pitchfork. So 10 pip, 20 pip gap there, 25 pip gap there. So we'll again just mark it up. Right, so I'm going to put this on here. That is quite a big gap. Technically, we want to cover that though, so not ideal because it's not covered. It's caught in between, unless it doesn't move until further along there. So I'll just put an alert here because I wouldn't get into that until it's come down to that level. Although you have got 20 pips there, but we need that pitchfork touch. So just mark that one up. And we'll leave that. That's GCAD. USD JPY has come all the way out of that scan now. And it's in this one. Put it in white so you can see it better. Oh, it's just wicked off it. That's the nearest one I've got anyway. I'm pretty sure I'm not missing any that's showing. So unless it comes up to that scan there, which is all down, I've got one down there. I won't try and find a second pitchfork for today, but there's that, it's this funny one, 29th of June, where it's a sell scan, but it's one of those 5%ers. The pitchforks are running sort of parallel. They're not pointing nicely downwards, but it's just wicked off that one on quarter theory. So I haven't got anything on on UJ. GBP USD, that was the one I was in off the quarter theory. I nearly told you in the trade ideas group, but I didn't, because we were right in that Euro GBP one and I didn't want to confuse the issue. But I did hop into this when I got out the other one at 13 pips, because I had a very nice break off the quarter theory. I had 65 pips between the leg there. It was a sell scan. I had the downward momentum. There's my trend line. And I literally followed it down and kept behind the 62 EMA by 3 pips. And then here at this point was 15 pips. There's 30 pips. I was aiming for the 40. But following Chance's advice this morning, where he said don't give up more than 50% of your profits, I thought, okay, if it retraces back to that level, I'm out. But it came back to the 20 pips. So I was still in it at that point, even though to come up past the 1 minute trend. It didn't hit the 15 pips. So I had my decision made on how I was going to get out of the trade and protect some profits whilst I was running the trade down. And then it ended up doing 35. But by the time I made my decision to get out, I got out at 30. It was 29.4 pips actually. And then I'd totally forgotten about the US news anyway, which was very naughty of me. So there's the news hitting at 2:30 my time. The US dollar news, which obviously was some good news because it's gone up and it's back up to quarter theory. So that was that trade. So that kind of made me feel a bit less upset about getting out of Euro GBP too early. So markup on this one. Markup on this one. Well, we've got the 62 strongly coming back up. So I think the next entry is probably going to be back up at this point. Or personally, I don't want to get back in it as another sell myself. It's changed direction. So it's either going to be, sorry, wrong one. It's either going to be putting something on there. I'm going to take that off. or down here when it turns around again. If we look on the longer time frame, what's it doing on the hourly, just to see the scan. So it should still be selling apart from that US news. So it has hit the median, so you can take buys off it as well. Just have a look at what your momentum is on the 30-minute and the 15. Take that one down. There's that D point. So apart from that spike, London to New York yesterday, it's carried on pretty much on its downward trend down to that quarter theory, which it has broken down to the next one now. But you'd see it struggled to do that for over 2 days, 3 lots of New York session. It really just struggled along the 62 and then 50 pip variation, but it's broken down 50 pips now. So it is a sell scan. But as I say, because of that hitting the median, I don't know what it's going to do next, whether it will. It's above the 15-minute now, just wicked off the quarter theory. The 62 is still coming up. So if you are thinking about the sell, the same rules apply. We would wait for that 62 to curl in our favor before we looked at it. So personally, I'm not going to mark this one up. I've done my business really for the day, and I just don't fancy getting back into this one myself. There's nothing wrong with it. I just don't want to mess up what I've done at the moment. So that's just some thoughts on GU. EURNZD was this new scan. The D point moved, and it looks like it might have moved again. I think it's moved again up to that quarter theory. So it moved off that spike which we drew this morning from Babs. So let me just see if the scanner's got it, what the scanner's saying about it. Oh, that's an old one. Oh, don't say that's disappeared. EN cipher, that's that one. That's that buy one. Well, where's this new sell one gone then? That's still that one. So I'm not even picking up. I'm not picking up the new one. It's disappeared. That's disappeared as well. We've just got that last one at the moment. So I think I'll take that off because it doesn't take me long to redraw them anyway. And I'm going to go back to this other one. So according to this one, it's just pinged back in on those extensions. Strange that. So just the crossover of New York up to quarter theory, fast moving pair in the extensions, a nice break and a retest. Very nice break and retest and off the 62, but have we missed the move? Price is now down there, 15 pip. We're kind of very close on the edge. I'll get in it as a sell on my demo. Bit far off the pitchfork and everything really, but God, that's slow opening up. Thank you. So EN Sell. 1.79404. 1.79554 would give us 15 pips. That probably won't just cover that. It's just trying to move into profit now. So we've got, that's not very good. If I was on a live account, you really would want both of them covered, and I wouldn't take this on a live account personally, because I'd be too far off those two. Slightly miss the move. Don't like those big stop losses. I do try and stick to those rules, but with a pair like this, you are looking to get down to that 30, 35 pip, and you've got a very nice take profit level with that pitchfork and quarter theory. $404, 200. There. Put the trend line on. So something like that. Let's see how that goes. All good practice. So I'll set an alert. 404, 304, 25, something like 25. Bit far off the pitchfork, but that's about 15 or 15 pips. So we'll see how we get on with that. Okay, so that's EN. AutoCAD, that's at an interesting level, pitchfork and quarter theory. I had it marked down there for a sell, obviously didn't like that, decided to do something different. So we've got pitchfork and quarter theory saying sell, we've got the orange saying sell, although it's pointing upwards. So let's look at our trend. So on the 15-minute, we're in this sell scan from the 31st of July. It's completed the scan nicely. Didn't come all the way back up and has carried on. Sorry, it hasn't completed the scan and it went quite a way back up. So it should really be selling down to this, below this C point, down to these extensions, this sort of level really. So let's have a look back on the 1 minute. Don't know why I've got that there. Don't want that anymore. So we've got downward momentum. Long downward momentum from here. Touches to both sides. That's a very clean trend line. Touches all the way along there. That's an hourly spike up to the quarter theory 15-minute and perfect to the pip on the pitchfork. Good touches to the top side and touches to the downside. So there's our downward trend. It's broken out of that at the moment. So I want to say I'd like to look at this for a sell, but I don't like the way the 62 is pointing up. So again, we need to wait until that comes back round in our favour. It's a slow pair as well, which is quite nice. It doesn't rush you. But you might not always get those big moves down 45 pips on the slower pairs, because they move fewer pips in the hour. Like Ian Chance said this morning, it moved, I can't remember what he said, it had moved, I don't know, 30 pips in 20 minutes, whereas one of the slow ones, AJ or something, had moved 9 pips in the same amount of time. So can I mark this one up for, what's the break on that? I'm going to try and ignore the dog for half an hour. He might hopefully just sit down and realise I'm not going to go and let him out at the moment. So from there, that's only 5 pips break. So I don't know what to say about this one really. It's not that clean. I'd like to sell it, but it's broken the downward trend, but it's rejecting off the pitchfork and the quarter theory. But you want that 62 to curl round. So if you want to look at it, and technically I think it should be selling, but that dog is very annoying. But I'll leave that one with you. I'm not over enamored of doing anything with that. Benny. That's that EURNZD, Euro USD. So that one we had marked up, but I don't know, we must be looking at something else, because that went on to do a big move. So it did for about 45 pips up to there. So the problem with it, I hate that dog sometimes. Just remove that. The problem with it, of course, is that you would have had to have given up if you tried to stay in it. It fell right back down. So there's quite a long period of, so you're above the 62, you're thinking you're going to get the 20, it then comes back to this level. So then you've got stall out of an hour, it goes right back down into your drawdown area, 2 hours, 2.5, very painful 3.5 hours. So the problem with it is that after it had cleared that area, we had a big spike up. So difficult one to get in, because you had strong momentum up but didn't have a clean break and retest. Then it went up about 17 pips, 15 pips there. Then it dropped right back down, and then it went back up again, and then it went down again. So I think, in all honesty, you might have been out at 5 or 10 pips with that. Once they've gone to 10 pips, you had a 1 pip stop profit in, and it started to drop back down. And then at this sort of point, I think it's one of those trades that's 50 minutes, you would have come away with stopped out over here, 5 pips, or decided to call it a day once it started to come down here, about 5 pips. Or if you let it go up again, then saw it coming down again, then it dipped down again, you might have thought, oh, I'm out. So I think that wasn't a very good trade. I don't think any of us, in all honesty, would have still been well, we would have been stop profited out, and we wouldn't have got that kind of trade. Now, could we have got back in again? Potentially, yes. Break and a retest and above the 62, but a wide gap, that's the problem with it. Your gap's widened with the quarter theory, so not such a good trade over there. So where are we with it at the moment? Rejection of quarter theory, that's selling, saying sell, the 62 still saying buy. So it's in a period of consolidation, and it looks like it probably wants to drop, turn round at this stage, but we haven't got a trade on this. Let's just measure the gap. 56. So nothing doing for us unless it goes up. You could put a trend line up there, put a trend line down here. Euro USD makes its move first hour of London and first hour of proper hour of New York. So either it'll go, it wants to push on up through there, but we can't take a trade here, or it'll turn around and come back around here. So nothing for us on that this afternoon. Euro GBP was the one that drove us all crazy, because I ended up, because of this, I saw this, and as Justin said, you know, it was actually a very clean trend up. So I saw the new scan. It hadn't done this at the time, and I was up 13 pips or so, and I thought, oh, I'm going to close out, because I didn't want to. I thought it had completed the end of its Elliott wave, and then of course it went up to do. Actually, I got in at I think it was 405, and it went up to 4. What was it? 045. I got in and it went up to 433. I could have had 45 pips. But because of that, because I happened to see that it just arrived, I thought, well, I'll close out at my 13 pips. And then, of course, it's gone all the way up here, hasn't it, now? So I'm not sure where we're going to put our new D point. I'll think about that later. Because, or do we say it's a failed scan? Is it another one where we say, well, I don't think it's a failed scan. That's now got the D point, 12th of August at 1300 my time. $1,300. I'm on the 30 minutes, sorry. It's the hourly. Wait a minute, which scan is it? H1. So that scanner is now saying it's up to there. Anyway. So, and it just to the pip touched quarter theory. So I think that's why I hadn't locked it on. So I'll lock it on now. So I'm not sure whether to take it up to the wick or not. If anyone's got any bright ideas, happy to hear them. So let's come down to the 1 minute. So on the 1 minute, I would be moving it there. And that is an hour later. So that is on that wick candle up to quarter theory. But to me, that looks like a better D point. But, you know, I'm not a professional trader. Whether I'm 100% right, I don't know any more than you. But what I do like about this is that there's CAD JPY alert going off. We'll go back to that. Pitchfork and quarter theory together. We didn't have, how many pips was that off? So that's only 0.9 of a pip. So if we believe in that D point, that is considered a touch. So it's done, that's one of the strongest moves you can get, the break and the retest. Obviously, we'd want to wait until below the 62 before getting in. So it's just a question on whether we believe in this D point. That covers us, and it's Euro GBP, so it's technically a London pair. It's made that big long move up. How much does it want to move down this afternoon? 10 pips there. And that would take us down to there. How is our plus 3.4 on that EURNZD? And if you are in a correlating pair, you shouldn't get into 2 because you're doubling your risk. So if you got in off that's where if price comes below the 62 again, then you can cover, if you believe in that D point, you can cover both the pitchfork and the quarter theory. Hopefully we'll have that 62 just in that red box curling down for the sell. And then there is a trade idea. I'm just going to put on an alert there then. So we'll see what happens. See what happens there. So that's EURNZD, CAD JPY. CAD JPY alert's gone off, but it's now stuck. It's stuck itself between quarter theory and that old pitchfork. That pink one is an old pitchfork. So actually, I'm not liking the look of this very much. Really. Because I'll tell you why. I think I've done something wrong on this one. I must be having a brainstorm. I don't like the look of this one. Please ignore whatever I've said on this because we haven't got a pitchfork touch. I don't know what I was thinking of. Yes, I have got a pitchfork touch, but it's the old pitchfork. Oh, that's right. Sorry. Take it back. Old pitchfork, the pink one. So you can trade off that instead of this current green one, but don't get in it until it's above that pink one. That's right. Sorry, it's just different type of setup. So at the moment, we've got the 62 still saying buy because it's above the blue, but its price is rejecting off that pink old pitchfork and it's sandwiched between that and quarter theory. So it's not doing anything much at the moment, even though the alert went off. So I'm going to leave that. And in fact, it's kind of could go either way, I think. It could go either way. Let's clone that. And just see if it starts to come down that way. Which is, looks like what it is doing. Let me see where we are on the scans. No, I put the pink one on. I'm sorry, it isn't the green one, it's a buy scan. I put the pink one on because I thought it would stall out there and not to get in it until above the pink one. So actually, I don't think we've got a pitchfork touch on this one. I think I've got myself confused. The D is the latest one at the 10th of July, and the green one dates back. I don't know why I'm in a muddle on this one. Hang on, I'll sort it out. Dates back 21st of April. Right. So it's the pink one that I care about. That is the current scan. I don't care about the green one. I mean, I do and I don't. So at the moment we've got a pitchfork touch. Right, let's clean this up. It looks like it's doing that. So a pitchfork touch, but quite a wide break and retest. 30 minutes there. Take that off. And below quarter theory. So what we'd like to see, it's now below the 62. Normally what I do when I get into a bit of a pickle with something like this is I just move on from it. But I'll persevere because we might get some learning lessons out of it. So that scan that I'm in came out of my green one, which is still in behind the pink one, but the pink one is the most recent, and the pink one is a buy scan there from the 10th of July. And obviously it hit the median there, hasn't completed, failed, came back down to a lower scan, failed again, dropped even lower, now working its way up. So that is the last scan that I had. This other green one is very old, which doesn't matter, but that trade I took yesterday was off a scan, something like 400 days old. Can't remember which pair it was now. So, right, now I've got my bearings again. What I'd like to do is buy this, but at the moment it's saying sell. So that was our upward momentum. Just anchor that on. Which actually is more like that, picking up more points. Missing some of those, I'll move that to there. That's picking up some nice touches all the way up there. And I'm just going to move that to pick up those and that. So, and in fact, it's decided it's selling. So the thing that put me off it, you've had the pitchfork touch, which is the pink one. It's a buy scan, but okay, it had hit the median, so we can do a buy or a sell. It did a wide break and retest, which I don't always like because that was half an hour, wasn't it? So that usually says to me price is being a slower mover. That took 30 minutes. Rejected off again off the pitchfork, has come down. Now, if it gives us another retest, then I would say buy it, but I wouldn't have got into that. Well, not by the time I'd done all this fussing around anyway, because I probably would have moved on to something else. So let's see if that plays out. Anyway, all good learning, I hope. So CAD JPY, we won't waste any more time on that. Annoyingly, it's just dropping down. But as I say, it's that wide break and retest was one of the things. Euro GBP, what's going off there? Okay, well, that is coming down for a sell. We had the break and the retest were below the quarter theory, and the pitchfork we're now just below the 62. If you don't mind, I'll take this on demo as well, because I don't want to mess up this morning. But just so we see what happens with our trades. Sell on that. +4 on our EN. Whoops, and I've also got into 2 correlating pairs, which is very naughty of me. So 090409, 0.90509. EG is up here, -1.8. We usually start in a minus, as we know, because the broker's taking their fee. That's on the 1 minute. So that's a bit naughty. I shouldn't be in 2 correlating pairs. Let me remember what the price entry was. 90409. Sit there. And let's see if that comes down. 409, 309 would be my 10 pips, but I am off the 309, quite a way off the pitchfork. We'll see what happens with that one. Whoops, hope Warren isn't looking, so I revert to my bad old habits of cloning a line. So there's the channel there on the 1 minute. So that's those 2. What else have we got that we can look at? Let's have a look down here. Some of these I don't have scans on, I know that. I'm not sure with USD Chef. I think that's one where I struggle with scans. It's a slow pair. Yeah, I don't have anything. It's still sat between all the scans I've got. I've got scans up there and I've got scans down there. It does look like it's working its way down, but it's still got at least 200 pips to go, probably 300 before it picks up any of my scans. So nothing on that. I can't trade that. Down to the bottom. We haven't looked at USD CAD, have we? No, that's a good one. Strongly selling, strong downward momentum, a lot of break and retest and back to the 62 and just coming down again. No quarter theory to protect us. Let's have a look at what scan that is. That's the D point of the 30th of July, completed the scan very successfully. And is still pushing down again. So our downward momentum, you still see that strong, very strong trend all the way from the beginning of the day. Quite a lot of stall out now, and it's, how many pips is it between there and there? 20 pips. Doesn't look like it wants to move a lot, does it? Because it's done that. How many pips has it dropped today? 50, nearly 100 if it comes down to here. But then remember, usually we have our New York reversal. So why is it carried on all the way down? Oh, that was that news. That was that news which made it go down. But the US dollar went up against something else. Well, it's gone down against the Canadian dollar. Now it's stalled out. So that says to me it might want to come up now. So I can see an old pitchfork sat there as well. Okay, Benny, 5 minutes, cross your legs. To there. Don't know, bit of a difficult one. Can't put a fib on it. Wait for a break and a retest for the buy. Put an upward trend on it. But it's like it's a reversal. It's going to be a which is more difficult. You know, the trend is your friend. The momentum trade's easier. Doubt it's going to carry on this momentum. Could of course be wrong, but that news made it go the opposite way. It's dropped nearly 100 pips. New York's always usually a reversal. A lot of stall out there. Hasn't been able to get below 12 pips in over an hour and 10 minutes. So it's not liking carrying on down, okay? But that would be a reversal trade. So you've got to find your 3 confirmations. Usual thing, you know, the break of the 1 minute trend, the pitchfork touch, the break and the retest, and look for a 3rd confirmation on that one. And then we'll see if we can do 1 or 2 more. I'll just look at the chat as well. USD CAD. What's GJ doing? GA and GN. So GN, we had this marked up. Take that off. Strong downward momentum. Just crossed a quarter theory. This is a big scan, I think. 141. So if you get it, if it retests back up to that 62, you've got a potential sell, because you've got that very nice trend here. Although remember our advice about, so London, it went up, then it's been down. So normally New York reverses what London has done. So if we take that off there. So again, so the market seems to be moving a bit later, because normally it used to be when I was on at 1 p.m. UK time, you'd get the stall outs and then the reversal. But today it seems to be later on, it's reversing. Because a lot of stall out on quarter theory. The 62's tailing off. It pushed down 26 pips there. That is still well under, isn't it? But it's anyway, you're too far off the quarter theory now to get into it, even if we were thinking of it. I think 18 pips, you certainly wouldn't want to get into that. So you're going to have to see if it comes down here, or if it then stalls out now, which it should be doing, and starts to do its reversal into New York. So nothing on GN, because usually a very fast pair, as we know, and I'll just finish with GA. I don't think I looked at GA. That's GN and GA, and we'll just see what those trades are doing that we were in. GA. Again, the whole day, strong downward momentum. That market definitely reversing later today. Weird. Strong downward momentum, stalling out and coming up to the 62. Looks to me like it's again starting its later New York reversal on GA. We'll just have a look at those trades. Minus 3.3 or minus 2.7 on Euro GBP, slower pair, plus 7.7 on EURNZD, which is a faster pair. So Euro GBP, which technically is a London trade anyway, so that's now pressing up again. So that may well want to retest up here. I don't know. As we said, we don't know if that D point is what we believe in that D point on that one. And EN looks like this. So EN's doing fine. That should do that 20 pips. And if you are in that, then very much how I talked you through the GU sell that I was in. Run your let me take that alarm off because I don't need it. And then I can show you. Right, if you're in the trade, I literally move my stop loss, which is by now a stop profit, if it's at 15 pips, but we're a bit way off the pitchfork. But I literally run that 3 pips, exactly 3 pips behind the 62. And I'm just literally going back to my live account, and I'll do it here. I'll change it here. I do it exactly like this. I get the ruler, I put it on the tip of the 62, I take it up 3 pips. As soon as I see it move, that says 3.1, but that gives me 1.7, that says 2.9, 1.79453. I then do this, 1.7453, and I move it on my live trading account. And that's just dropped again there, I think, didn't it, while we were talking? Yeah. So all the time I'm slightly moving. That's now moved to 1.79448. So I don't know how Chance does it. 448. Obviously, he's highly successful. He's a professional trader. But that's by finding, because I got stopped out of one. I think it was this morning. And literally, it's because I'd run it slightly too tight on the 62. And I had to get back in. So that's how I do it. And then you can see all that stall out along that pitchfork. So that'd be a warning sign to me as well that I might want to get out. Because look how long it's stalled out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I wouldn't be liking the look of that, I can tell you, even on EN. I'll be keeping a very close eye on that. It's just pushing through, although we are just past the hour now. So that would be making me nervous. And that is, how many pips that is from where I got in. That's 12 pips, 13 pips. But you still have got a clean downward momentum with that 62. And that was that spike on the hour. But that I wouldn't be liking. But it's difficult because you don't want to get, as Chance says, you don't want to get into EN just for coming away with 12 pips or so. And that says +6 on there. Let's price up there. Because you're only at 1%, you know, you've spent all this time setting it up, looking at it, getting into it, putting your good money there, and then you're going to just bail out, you know, and that's not what you want from a pair like this. You want to be able to get 35 to 40 pips off a fast pair, but also you can see maybe it wants to come back up to that 62, and you don't want to be taken out of the trade. You've got to give it room to breathe. Now, I was in a bit late by the time we'd spoken about it and everything. you know, it was one that I said I'm taking on demo. So that if you're in higher up, then you might have got 10 pips, so at least you're at 1-to-1. But you're still going to have to work twice as hard on your next trade if you've done a 1-to-1, because we like to do 1-to-2 to compound. And that's how we can move forward and make money. So I'm going to stop share now. Oh, there's some things in the chat. Hello, Steph. Nice to see you. Sort that dog out. I know. Sorry. Mummy's just been busy earning the money to buy his tuna and ham. Took profit on EN that you looked at. Thanks. Oh, that's great. Brilliant. Well done. ITM in the money. Well done. I think that means in the money. So thanks for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow for London's session. No chance tomorrow, chance Gonum, so I will be on at I'll be on at 8 AM UK time. Catch some of you guys before you go off to work. I'll just stop recording.